I hope everybody's doing okay. Since I've done 20 episodes now of Slaves of Satan, I wanted to take the time to go over a recap in case people have not watched them in order. I hope that you are, because the whole thing is to be a build up to make the case of how Helena Blavatsky and Crowley um, drove the world into moral decay. So, episode 1 was about Helena Blavatsky, about Theosophy, the Theosophical Society, um, the Ascended Masters doctrine, and all that stuff. I think it had a pretty good cover about of her. I don't think I missed a whole lot because I'm also going to take the opportunity to fill in the gaps if I might have missed something. Joseph Smith, who created the Mormon Church, nowadays they go by the Latter Day Saints of Jesus Christ. Um, it was not specifically about the Mormon Church. It was about Joseph Smith, how he was a fraud, a warlock, um, and after starting the Mormon Church, he got arrested for inciting a riot, and he was a Freemason, just like almost all these people. Like Helena Blavatsky was a Freemason too. Joseph Smith was a Freemason. Some say he only reached the third degree. Others say 32nd. But what he did was he stole a lot of the Freemason secrets, then took them and added them to his Mormon temple rituals. And when he died, he said he did the Masonic Hailing Silence Trust and said, "Is there no help for the widow's son?" But the people that sought him supposedly had Masonic rings on. Number 3 was Charles Darwin, and something that I forgot to mention the first time was that a man named Roger Morneau, somebody that was in a secret society that worshipped demons and Satan, claimed that the people before them had a meeting with Satan in the 1700s, and Satan said one of the 3 things he was waiting for was a man named Charles Darwin to be born, so he could trick people into believing that Satan and the angels never existed, which um which unfortunately he fooled a lot of people with. And even though the the Piltdown Man has been debunked, people still think we came from an ape. Um, but the scientists aren't even really teaching that anymore. They're moving towards directed panspermia, which is just as bad, if not worse. Then 4 was about Life as Levi, even though people don't really refer to him a whole lot today. He drew the Baphomet, which is used unimaginably frequently in any type of occult circles. 5 was about Albert Pike. The only thing I can think of that I forgot to mention about him is when he held the title of Grand Inspector Sovereign General um, of the 33rd Degree Council of the Scottish Rite. He was wanted for war crimes and never got arrested because of his position. Because he was a Confederate general, he was so racist that he would descalp his enemies and have them tortured by their son hitting the scalp and even mutilation. But because of his high position in masonry, he never got arrested, and he held that spot longer than anyone ever did before. 6 was about Samuel Adele McGregor Mathers. The reason he was important to talk about is he was the main person that created the Golden Dawn. He was just like everyone else so far. He was a Freemason too, a 33rd degree, and he was Aleister Crowley's first high-profile teacher. 7 was about a man named Theodore Russ who started the Ordo Templi Orientis, or the OTO, which was originally made to be a direct revival of the Bavarian Illuminati, but then basically Crowley hijacked it. He shredded of its Masonic roots and turned it into basically a more exclusive Thelema sex cult. Then 8 was about Crowley itself. I don't really think I forgot to mention anything about him because it's more about his accomplices and disciples than him himself. Um, 9 was Charles Taze Russell, the creator of the Jehovah Witnesses. The only thing I forgot to mention about him is how there's evidence and rumors that he was an Illuminati sacrifice, and I talked about how he was a Freemason as well, and I also and his son was as well, and the his successor was as well, and his wife that was a descendant of witches. Um, but and like I said, it was not about the Jehovah Witnesses search. Mostly just Charles Taze Russell. 10 was about Harry Hay, who played the organ for the OTO, and at one time was a supporter of NAMBLA. Then he backed away from because of the bad publicity. He was pretty much who they call the father of the gay rights movement. Then 11, the sex fiend Albert Kenzie. He was a sexologist. He's basically the man responsible for making porn. Then 12, it was Gerald Gardner. Is started to cover Wicca, and I was very extensive about him. It's about 45-minute video. 13 was author Edward Waite, because I wanted to discuss the effect tarot cards have had on the community. He was also in the Golden Dawn, and just like everyone else except Albert Kenzie, so far he was a Freemason or in one of the societies. Um, 14 was Sigmund Freud. That's when I got into the psychiatry. Um, I think I forgot to mention how out of all his depraved teachings, he also said every son had the thought process to want to kill their father so that they could be with their mother, or envied their father, and every woman wanted to eliminate her mother so she could be with her father, and everything was about sex with him. But I already mentioned all that. You can watch the video. 15, I got into writers. H.P. Lovecraft. I think that was pretty extensive. 16, Annie Besant. She was the second president of the Theosophical Society. 17, Friedrich Nietzsche, because I may decide to make a video about him because so many people on this list was inspired by Nietzsche, and I don't really think I missed much of anything. 18, I went back to American psychiatry, Carl Jung, because his influences just went so far, and people are still interested in him today. And 19 was about Alexander Cartwright, the creator of baseball. So because I want to do branch into sports as well, and discuss how corrupted certain sports are and how it's based on paganism, Satanism, Masonry. Then the last episode, part 20, was about Alexander Scriben, the first person in the series that was a musician, and not many people really knows his story specifically about the Mysterium, and I think I did a pretty complete job of covering that. And I'm gonna continue with the series. There's probably gonna be a lot more videos than I thought. There's so many different players in this so-called game. I'll probably be making these until the game is over for me. I guess that's the way you can say it. And and I go to heaven. And there's gonna be a lot more of these than I thought. I was thinking around 100 to 150 when I started, but now I'm thinking at least 2 to 300. And if there's anybody that you feel like needs to be discussed, please let me know, because I probably know about them and I probably know enough to make a full video. And if you missed any of these, I encourage you to go back and watch them, because I get into other topics too that is attached to them that can lead you down a rabbit hole of information. Have a blessed rest of the night.